Hello, hello. Happy Motivation Monday. I am one of your hosts, Miss Nightlife, and this is.
I am Pioneer the Poet.
And together we are Southern Comfort. Welcome to the Pandemic Pedagogy episode, where we discuss the upcoming school year, challenges, alternatives, and available resources. Pioneer, how are you tonight,
I'm
my
here.
darling?
I'm okay. I am I'm smiling today,
Mm-hmm.
and it's, even though it's raining, you can feel the hint of fall in the air,
Yeah,
and
you
it feels
can.
so good.
You can.
I can't wait. I'm
Mm-hmm.
here for the fall.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so tell me something. How is your anxiety about the beginning of the school year, child? They go to school in 2 weeks.
Ooh, girl. So I spent most of my day actually on the phone trying to get the littlest person in my life in a pre-K program, which I was told that it wasn't going to be a thing this year. And then all of a sudden I start seeing the updates for the pre-K kids and what to expect from them, and I'm like, "But wait, y'all said that my kid couldn't go."
Mm-hmm.
So I called the school. I had to call the middle school to find out. They sent out a paper that was basically saying, "Oh, this is when we start and this is the times." But you haven't said anything about Chromebooks for the incoming middle schoolers. Like, it is a mess, and I don't understand why we're starting in 2 weeks and not after Labor Day. I think it should be delayed a week just to give them a chance to get all of this crap together, because we're still struggling.
Mm-hmm.
It's stressful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stressed.
She's stressed,
I'm
y'all.
stressed.
Listen,
Hey, Miss
how are the
Lee.
kids? How the kids doing?
The kids hate it. They miss their friends. They want to go back in class. They want to walk in class with cool masks on, even though I'm terrified. And I know you've seen the memes of your kid gonna go home, come leave with the Paw Patrol mask, and come back with the Batman mask. That would so be my kids. They would come home with something else that they friends they found that they liked a lot more. So
Okay, okay, all right. So, I mean, well, I'm back already, as you know.
yes, you are back already.
And
Has DC started?
no, we don't start. The students don't. I've started. I started
Right.
last week.
Like, because you're in the planning phase.
Yeah,
and
but I'm
everything.
doing something else right now. I'm doing like 3 other different things. I'm not preparing for. I haven't received. I've checked my email several times a day. I've done so all summer long just because I've been anxious to know,
Like, what is this going to look
some
like?
things. And
My district just made a decision like last month that they were going
yeah,
to
everybody
go.
did at the end of the month.
It was so
The first
random.
of August. And it's usually following the mayor, the governor in Maryland's case.
Let me get my
After
wine.
their addresses to the masses and all. And so, me personally, as an educator, I've been uber fucking anxious. I've been
Let me just
overtly
say,
anxious.
as a mom and not an educator, thank you for what you do. I don't think they pay y'all enough. And y'all are really underappreciated.
I feel as a teacher, teachers are the black women of careers.
Oh, girl. Oh, that's a word.
Yes, teachers are the
Teachers
black women
are the black women
of
the career
careers.
force. Girl. And it's funny, everything has to start with a teacher, no matter what it is you do. Somebody has to teach you. And teachers are treated like
we're there to babysit. We're really glorified babysitters.
they have been breaking their neck to make sure the NBA is good, and the NFL and the NLB and the blah 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 and all these other different things. But teachers, they like, oh, y'all will figure it out.
Yeah. It's kind of like, here you go. It's like, I was watching a video the other day, and a lady threw a little baby in the water, just threw him in the water. And then she jumped in casually after to get him. And I don't know if she was a swim coach or what, but she just threw him in the water, and that's exactly what happens. And if you can't swim, then you don't.
It's sink or swim.
You don't do well. But my angst, it's because of the planning. I plan all day.
Okay.
Because you don't know what it's going to look like. Because now, mind you, at the end of the year, we weren't observed. We a lot of our conversations around teachers don't talk about the evaluation system that they have to.
Right. Everything is driven by funding.
Yeah, and so that's what we working to do. Make sure that I don't know about everybody else, but for me personally, I work to make sure that I'm meeting or exceeding expectations when and wherever possible. So that's tiresome.
I wonder, are there any teachers anymore that love teaching? Remember, teachers used to. You are very few. I know maybe about 3 or 4 personally before I get hit in the inbox about your teachers. I know 3 or 4 personally that absolutely love teaching, and I am here for them because you have to love what you do.
I do. I get the enjoyment. I still, the rush and all that. But now it's the politics, and that's what
I think it's too many politics. I always have thought it was too many politics in school, especially when they started getting rid of things like the arts. Like I'm an artist. I've always been this way. I've never been the kid that enjoyed math and science. I think I wanted to be a nurse for like 10 minutes. Maybe 10. I've always enjoyed arts and music and theater. And when they started getting rid of those programs, I remember school becoming so tough. Like, there are children who need that.
Well, that's they've taken the creative element out of it, because how dare you think for yourself? That's not what we're here to do. I'm not here to, according to, what's written. I'm not here to teach you to think for yourself.
The poet Jasmine Mans did a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and she said that we're taught to be doctors and lawyers, and we're taught all these beautiful things, but we tend to not teach them to use their imagination. And it's your imagination that makes the scientists. That's how things come about. Some kids' imagination dreamed up
say that, because I'm working on that right now with my summer kids.
Nice.
We were doing reading, and the theme was activism. And so, I asked them, because the gifted and talented teacher in me want to know, and I kind of low-key have a Montessori. I like it. I like the freedom to choose.
I think teachers should be allowed to make their curriculums like they used to.
No. Girl, no. Child, no. But listen.
All right, let's get into it.
All right. So, before we get into this show and dig into all of these things, let's pay some bills. This episode of Magic Monday Motivation is sponsored by Whispering Roots Hair Care Products. This episode is also sponsored in part by
AC
5.
Yes.
Clothing. Who have created our masks. They're in this room somewhere.
I'm gonna get it.
You see them?
Yes, okay. I'm gonna get them. I got you.
So, and so we're also highlighting Here to Help Online Learning Center. Here to Help is helping to ease students into the new school dynamic by offering online support. For more information, which I will post later, and of course, if you play it back, it'll be flashing across your screen. Send it out for information. Email here, HEAR, to help at hotmail.ca, or call 416-551-2469. And yes, we have masks available.
You can now have us on your face.
I've been wanting to say that all day.
Would you like me on your face? Bam!
Well.
Oh, and I did the blow test with them to make sure, because COVID is real. You cannot blow anything through this. Our faces protect you.
We protect you.
Let us protect
you. So
look at
check the links links, which will be also in the show. Hey, Gabby. Hey, Gabby.
You want us on
Check
your
the
face?
links in the comments.
I'm on one today.
Get one. Get
Or
one.
get 2.
Or 3.
They feel really good. They're really soft. She did an amazing job. I'm excited. I love new merch. So
Yep. So get it. All right. All right, y'all. So for those of you that are watching us on Facebook or joining us on social media, give us a call at 515-605-9706 and press 1 to talk to us. So, you ready to go on and dig in?
Let's dig in. Get your cocktails. This is about to be a ride of an episode. If you saw our promo video for this episode with the kids in there, like, I'm quite sure there are parents who understand, like, that is literally real life.
Yeah. Yep. So, get your cocktails, pull up a seat, tell the kids to lay down. What time is it? It's 8:12. Tell them to go have movie time in their tent.
Or their fort, children
or
like
the
forts.
fort. Yeah. For an hour.
Yes.
Set a timer for them and take your limit.
Yes, Kendra, we have jokes. We're going to joke our way through this episode simply because I am dreading August 31st because I know while I'm sitting there trying to learn my new role and doing all of this stuff, and I'm quite sure congratulations, you started your new role today.
Damn.
And your kid started school, so please today. She's she's not here.
Yeah.
And her babies went back to school today, so please chime in. Tell us how that went. I'm very curious to know how those babies did, how you did. Was the Zoom open? Was the district ready? Like, what happened?
Did they use Zoom?
Did they go to their own little thing? Because I saw where Florida started back and they tried to use their own platform and it crashed. Same thing with Georgia. Theirs crashed. Like,
yeah, they're gonna have to.
If you don't know what you want to do after high school, seems like IT is the way to go. Clearly, they're struggling for people.
So, sunshine, our platform. But anyway, so let's go on and dig in.
Let's do it.
Schools are an important part.
This we know.
Of the infrastructure of our communities and play a critical role in supporting the whole child, Not just their academic achievement, though. Schools are an important part of the infrastructure of communities as they provide safe and supportive learning environments. For students, they employ teachers, so, provide jobs and other staff and enable parents, guardians, and caregivers to go to work. Such capitalism, but yeah,
girl, hush.
It enables them to go to work, so they're not just say glorified babysitter. Schools also provide critical service to help mitigate health disparities, such as school meal programs and social, physical, behavioral, and mental health services. School closures disrupt the delivery of these critical services to children and families, and places additional economic and psychological stress on families, which can increase the risk for family conflict and violence, which I do touch on tonight. The unique and critical role that schools play make them a priority for for opening and remaining open and enabling students to receive both academic instruction and support as well as critical services. Because again, a lot of school for a lot of students is an escape.
Right.
It's a change up from
even if their home life is fun. It's still an escape for them. They have their friends. They're able to, connect with their own. I don't want to say their own kind, but they're able to connect with their peers. It's where your first relationships are fostered outside of family. Like, school is it's a necessity.
Yeah, I agree. And because me personally as an educator, I would love to go back to school, to start school regularly. You know what I mean? Or even with precautions, if I knew that one of those people bringing their kids to school, or one of those children aren't carrying. You know what I'm saying? That's the scary part.
It's very scary.
But beyond that, every other reason, yes, I think that they should be at school. They should be, because it's important to my job.
It's very.
You know what I mean?
It's important
Proximity
for them as far as their development
Proximity
and stuff as well. Mm-hmm. Social interaction for children is a big deal. My daughter's school reached out. They have opened my daughter's in preschool at a private daycare. They've opened everything back up, and I actually asked her teacher, I said, how has it been trying to teach and keep 4 and 5-year-olds apart? She said it's impossible. She said we spend most of our day trying our best to keep them from hugging each other, touching each other, giving each other toys that they put in their mouths, like just the little things that they do on a regular. They don't understand. It's hard for them to keep their mask on. They are literally struggling. And the school came up with the schedule, and you stagger the kids, you do all of this stuff. And then today, I was like, I decided not to send her back because I'm like, that's just too much. And I get an exposure notice. Was it COVID? No, but somebody else's kid came up sick with something, and now the school is under an exposure watch. And I'm like, y'all trade stuff on a regular basis. What's going to happen when little Jimmy comes in with COVID because he was either asymptomatic, his mama was asymptomatic, or she noticed he had a slight fever. She noticed she didn't really feel all that well, but her job is on the line. She's got to work to eat, or dad's got to work to eat, whatever the case may be. And now you got to shut down the whole building because they've been exposed. I understand the need for our children to go back in. I understand it from an employee standpoint. I understand it from a business owner standpoint. I understand it from a parental standpoint. I understand it for, everybody's mental health, all of that. But how are we making sure that these babies as well as the teachers are safe? And you cannot.
Impossible.
There literally has to. I definitely blame this administration.
I mean, well, yeah, for sure. But you would have to totally revamp. You would have to reimagine what schools look like. For example, you would have to examine whether additional public or private space, including outdoor spaces, is currently underutilized that might be safely repurposed.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But just like they've been...
Put those little bubble things.
They defunded schools so badly.
Much they
that,
did.
A lot of...
So the solution is simple then.
Give the fucking schools money.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Give them the money
people
to
that
be
know
able
how
to
properly spend it.
Thank you, because what we don't need is these districts where these people sit in these high seats giving themselves 20% raises every year. No, it's not about that right now. The fact that schools were already stressed. It's why you have to buy 23,000 crayon boxes, 43,000 notebooks, and all of this other stuff, because teachers are having to come out of their pocket to fund their classrooms. Parents are now having to spend more because the public schools, they're literally stripping the money for them, especially in the poor areas, in the areas that are predominantly Black or people of color. They have lost funding to the point where these kids are 3 or 4 editions of books behind. True. And 43 kids in a classroom to one teacher.
And I've been in those. It's been some time, but I've been in those situations where there were.
Yeah, you see it firsthand as an educator. You are seeing this.
So returning to school in the fall poses, new challenges. All the things that you just said. Implementing mitigation measures like social distancing, cleaning, disinfecting, hand hygiene, use of cloth. What if these kids have asthma?
My youngest son has severe asthma.
So then addressing the social and emotional needs of these students, addressing the potential learning loss, because without the pandemic, every summer, children lose months of what they've learned.
Absolutely. The
if not more, and if you're already behind,
then
that's
even
putting
worse.
you further behind.
But not only that,
this is a new
think
element.
about it. Usually around August, September, October, it's the height of flu season. Teachers are out, kids are out, because everybody's passing all of this stuff around. You add a pandemic on that, and you have a potential for absolute disaster.
That is the only there's going to have to be at this point for the United States. There's going to have to be a total fallout, but that's another show.
Girl, listen, that whole whole house, the surrounding houses, the yard, the backyard, the basement, that sucker needs to be gutted. I mean, completely restarted. Absolutely. One of our viewers said the red line is real. It is, and this is highlighting exactly how much damage redlining and such has done.
Oh, we have a caller.
Oh, yay! All right. Kendra says the district was ready, but the Chromebooks weren't ready. My kids were able to use the personal laptops as a workaround, but they seemed to have a good day. But just imagine, right? Like I was saying earlier, my son's going into 6th grade. They haven't given out Chromebooks. Luckily, I have a personal laptop for him. Imagine the parents whose kids are going into 6th grade and they don't have personal laptops. So what do those parents do? Because now you have truancy. Because your kid hasn't showed up in 2 weeks, but you don't have no way.
They have strict measures. I've heard some of these measures.
They sent out a thing that said the Chromebooks will be distributed because they had to appeal to the district for funding for them.
What?
They had to appeal to the district. The Chromebooks won't be distributed because the district finally approved it until September 20th. Now imagine if you don't have a personal laptop. Your kid will not be in school until September 20th. Now you have the cops knocking at your door all hard because truancy.
Listen, I want to be in school. I do. And you know, it's better for me to not be in school, but it does not change the fact that I want to so badly. And not just for, you know, personal reasons to interact with my colleagues and you know, my students, but because it sets the tone for learning. Like, I don't have no relationship with these children. I've not touched them. I've not looked at them in their eyes beyond the computer screen. You know, and so in-person learning is key to building relationships, and we will miss that element with COVID. That's also an added piece of my anxiety. Because when we look at online learning, I have to overplan. Which makes me work. I was up till 3:00 this morning.
Planning.
Y'all
hear that?
And then back
as
up
a teacher, 3 a.m.
at 7 a.m. because I had to be at work.
You had to
at
be
9.
at work.
You know, and so.
But this is the part that nobody is. I've seen so many childless people online discussing. That pissed me off. Like, listen. Discussing what parents can do and what teachers need to do, and person is lazy, and this person. If you are childless and you do not have a realistic solution,
and they don't,
I would need you to shut all the fuck the way up.
But nobody, not even the school's got a realistic solution.
They don't.
Which is why we're not in there.
They don't.
You
but
know?
At least the schools have some skin in the game. If you at home and you love to scream about how you F them kids and you ain't got no kids and that's why you ain't got no kids, this conversation is not for you. And I'm going to need you to shut all the fuck the way up because I've been blocking people left and right. I saw some girl like break down how parents are lazy and they use the kids, their schools as babysitters and ain't nobody sign up to watch your kids. I had to, you know how they tell you when you're on Facebook and you're scrolling and you see something, if sometimes you got to let it fly. I had to let that fly because I was ready to talk about her mama. Like the parent in me was ready to cuss her out. Like, I'm not sitting at home sending my kids to school so I can sip mimosas all damn day. Bitch, I got to work. And my children need to be in school. I'm not using my teachers as a babysitter, and any teacher who has taught my children know. I can be reached by email, telephone. I work in healthcare, and I work with patients all day. First thing they told me in my interview when I was getting the job that I could not have my cell phone on the floor. I let them know real quick, so that ain't gonna work. Because if my kid's school call, I need to be able to answer. I have no problem stepping off the floor, and I keep my cell phone in my drawer and all that other stuff. But I'm an active parent. I'm the parent that signed up for PTA, even though I can't stand PTA people. Like, y'all are a cult. But not every parent is sitting around just twiddling their thumbs, hoping their kids go to school so they can have a free 6 hours. Like, that's not real life. Tabitha says, I have 5 kids. 4 got laptops from the school. One of the laptops broke down. I spent my weekend looking for computers. I had to buy 2 computers, which were very hard to find. My love, like the fact that your district or your kid's school actually gave you more than one. Because I had 2 kids in elementary at one time, and they told me it was 1 laptop per household. Where both kids had to be, if they both got to be on at 9. How is that possible? And then that you had to look for like this, y'all, like, everybody who knows me knows that parenting is my hot button. You want to piss me off? Say something about a mama. I cussed the white lady out on the plane because she told her mama to shut her kid up. And I didn't even know this lady, and I straight was ready to go out mouth.
Oh, you should have.
I cussed her out. Like, we're not doing that. Oh, ain't nobody tell y'all to have them kids. And ain't nobody tell you to use your lips for whatever the fuck you use them for. But ain't nobody in your business. So I'm going to need you to get out of line. Like, what the hell?
Oh, my God.
Oh, computers are very hard to find right now.
I'm gonna play with some things because I can. Let me play with some things.
Even back to school drives look different
this year because I've searched
back
for some
to school
today.
drives usually are like book bags and pens and pencils and all that other stuff. Like, they're digital back to school drives because people understand the need that, especially in our communities, there is a serious deficit of materials that our children need, like computers. Our kids are 100% remote. How are we, like, how is this even possible that the local police department that polices the community has riot gear and a tank? Where y'all going? Why you need a tank? But my babies can't get a Chromebook for 2 in a household. You know how much a tank costs compared to a Chromebook? I did the math. There's no comparison. Like, what has happened? Wait, they only gave to grades 3 and up. So what are the smaller, what is grade 2 and grade 1 in kinder doing?
K through 2 or pre-K
Oh,
through
pre-K
2.
through 2. What are they doing?
Is that, and so I'm assuming that's because in DC it's different. Like, you got lottery systems and, all of that. That's not familiar to me because I'm a Texas, I'm an independent school district, not a public school system.
Right.
Woman, you know what I mean? Like, that's who taught
Florida.
me.
It was very.
What did y'all have? What is it? A unified school district?
It was to a certain extent because they had breakouts. Like, they had y'all call them tag here. We call them. There were magnet programs, and there were what the hell was the gifted program called? I don't even remember. But there were Title I schools. There were charter schools. There were schools that ran on the lottery that ran like a private school, but they were actually public. Like, it's different little things here and there.
Let's take our caller.
We do have a caller, and I'm excited.
Yeah. So let's see what.
Kendra says pre-K through 2 got iPads. You are in a very good district, my love, because my district can't even figure out what they gonna do for the new incoming people, child. What they gonna get them babies? Okay, yeah, go ahead. Okay.
Hi, caller. Hello. Hey, how are you? Tell us where you're calling from. Hello. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
I don't think they can.
We do somewhat. I don't know what to say.
Give us a moment, caller. Let's see if we can figure this out. We're gonna put you on hold for a moment.
So, okay, I don't know.
Yeah, something.
Like, it's something weird, guys, that is totally beyond our control. All systems are go here, but it's with
Blog Talk
radio, and so we do that to be able to talk to y'all and
there's something
hear what you have to say, but You know, this is like the 4th week
that
in a
they act a
row
fool.
that
Yeah.
something has happened. So, we'll figure it out, caller. If there's any way
So
for you to communicate with us on Facebook, please do so.
Tabitha also says for her K through 2, you have to supply them with a computer yourself. Again, we come back to the whole situation of what do you do if you cannot afford that?
Listen,
Are we putting the kids on our cell phones? If you're in the house, because a lot of parents are considered essential. A lot of places that were allowing you to work remote are making people go back into the office. So now what?
Well, I talk about alternatives tonight, and I'm a solution based person, and so we're gonna get into some numbers. We're gonna get into all of those things. But I want to preface anything with for my teacher friends and listeners, if you find yourself disconnected with the classroom, because it is real, here's what you can do to take advantage of learning while separated from your students, because distance learning has its benefits. And so we're going to talk about some of them. For teachers, it's flexible. Like I was in class today, but I needed to do some things, and so I did those things while I was in class. And
so how does that work? You like
turn off your computer, I team teach. So
what's
when
I'm teaching?
Team teaching for me is at this point right now, not my regular school year. My regular school year, I team teach also, but I don't know, though it may be something that I recommend when we begin to have conversations about what our classroom will look like, that we take a block of time and we both are on together, because that's what we're doing. Oh, so you
right
have
now. Like an aide or a teacher?
No, it's another teacher.
Oh, it's another teacher.
She teaches math. I teach reading.
Okay, so my kids' school was like that.
And so we're on at the same time. And so, it's scheduled. We're following the schedule like we're in school. Like, that's how I run my classroom.
Gotcha.
I call certain areas of the online learning platform our hallway. Go to the hallway and find. You know what I mean? And so we do things where they require them to get up and go somewhere in your house and find me something red and shiny.
Now, what grade do you teach?
Right now I'm working with 3rd graders, but my normal age group is 3rd through 5th grade. Okay. And primarily 4th and 5th.
You know what scares me? Mm-hmm. So for most of our children, they navigate very well, right? They came up with computers. But for the kids who are having trouble, like we had the whole link thing when the pandemic first started, my kids could never get the links right, and I would have to stop and go. And for the parents who are either not computer savvy, are older, or grandmothers and such who are raising the children that are not very computer savvy, they don't speak tech. What are these parents doing when they have to assist? So you send them to the hallway. Let's say something happens.
My job when we start, once they're able to log in.
Even the kids who can't log in. Like
now those kids that can't log in, all of my assignments I email. Ma'am, I can send them an email. Everybody can check an
Everybody can check an email.
Most of us
everybody can check an email, right? Okay.
You know what I mean? And then, so if not, that's why my job is to reach out. Hey, how you doing?
A phone call. So yeah. Because this goes back to my teachers who love teaching, because those who were, let's say, for instance, I got my degree in business management, couldn't find what I needed, took a certification, and decided to start teaching. For me, it's just a means to an end. I don't care about calling, kid wasn't there, I'm just going to mark them absent. That's why I say that right now it's going to highlight our teachers who love teaching, because they are going to be the teachers who reach out and say, hey, Miss Smith, I noticed Jaquan, wasn't in today. Or he was there and then he blanked out, like, what's going on? And then she can say, well, baby, something happened and I didn't know how to get him back in there. So you have that, but you have to have the teachers who have a love for teaching. This is going to highlight where our villages reside.
It is. Our
villages are going to.
it's requiring everybody to have way more accountability than they're probably ready to have or able to give.
You have to pack your accountability. You have to pack your patience. Your employers who are allowing you to work from home has to also pack a huge load of understanding. I had a meeting with my CEO via Zoom, and my daughter showed up. Like, literally, CEO, middle of the meeting, she walks in the camera, was like, "Can I have some pretzels?" It was so random. But thankfully, he understood. He got it. Like, hey, I get it. You know, you're going to see the dog fly by. You might see a kid in draws. Like, things are happening that are unprecedented. And the parents are fighting the district. The teachers are fighting the district. The world is fighting itself. Like, everybody has to pack a bunch of patience. You have to pack accountability. You also have to understand that kids who are normally not latchkey are going to be latchkey. So you may see Jamila sitting in the camera and you never see Jamila's mama. Jamila's 7. Jamila's mama is at work. Like, y'all, it's a lot going on. It is a lot, but I think we as a community, we have to, this is going to be our kumbaya, so to speak. We're all going to have to band together and realize that this is something that is completely,
it's different. It's foreign.
It's completely foreign.
And we have to be flexible, and so that's why we're here.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the uncomfortable parts of it. What can we do?
Right.
You know, on the teacher side, that's what I'm saying. The planning piece for me is the most, and it's the most, because you have to plan for your regular day.
Right.
Then you have to plan in case there are connectivity issues.
So you're planning more
twice.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then you're not just planning for a day. You could plan for a day. You're planning for the entire week because you're going to lose time because of connectivity issues.
Right.
Somebody somewhere every single day is going to have a problem.
We all know when it rains, lines go wick. It doesn't matter.
You
internet
have to consider
speeds.
that,
The people
right?
who are on the free internet apparently are having a lot of issues because
Everybody's
they gave
on
them
it.
free internet, but they slowed it down. Like, what are we doing? Why are we doing that?
It's a lot. It's a lot of factors to consider.
My head hurts.
It is a lot of factors.
As a teacher, as an educator, has your higher ups come to you and give you or gave you any type of kind of worst case scenarios? If this goes wrong, this is what you do. If this goes wrong, this is what you do. So they kind of let y'all flail.
Well, what they say, they do report in.
Okay.
You know, and say, hey guys, this is what we got. This is where we are. This is what we're going to do in the sense of us. You know what I mean? But as far as planning, like this is one of those things where you have to be proactive. Like, this is my career. This is my job. I take this shit seriously. You know what I mean? No matter how tired it makes me. It's a relationship.
Right.
You know, and so I'm committed to it. And so I have to, I've been teaching a long time, to me.
Right.
You know, I've been teaching 16 years.
Hell, what about our new teachers who are fresh out of college, was excited and, you know, they're 22 and couldn't wait to be a teacher, and now they're sitting in front of a computer teaching children.
I know that's torture for them. It is absolute torture for them because you have to, it's important to building a relationship. It's important to being there because you can't troubleshoot. So when Johnny's at home by latchkey,
because that's going to happen.
I can't troubleshoot. I can't come over and troubleshoot even if you stayed around the block. Johnny, I can't come. I'm sorry. You know, log off and start over. You know, you have to give them problems. So this is also one of the good things about it. They have to be able to critically think, which is it had become a lost thing. So now it's putting them in a position which, you know, the creative in me loves that because now they have to really figure it out.
They have to allow you to plan how you plan. Your classroom.
I hadn't had any issues. You know, but things have changed. And so And last year, the evaluation process was different, and like I had earned what I'd earned already. You know what I mean? School was at the
Right,
end
which
of
is
the
here we
year.
go again, evaluations.
That's what I'm saying. It's so I don't know what's going to be different at this point, and what that's going to look like virtually. You know what I mean?
Like, can you virtually
observe
a classroom?
I mean, I'll invite them in. Come in my classroom. I have fun in my classroom. So come on,
But again,
anybody,
one
come
of the teachers
on
who love teaching. One of our viewers says, "My aunt is a teacher in Atlanta, and only 3 of her students could get on. The system crashed."
Wow.
The thing is, right, in
And I
these
guarantee you she had
situations,
22 or more students
are
in
we
her classroom.
penalizing these students, or is the school saying, "Hey, we get it"?
Well, at the end of the year, it was, we get it. Hey, we're not,
This isn't gonna last forever. We're not
bad grades or anything. We just said, hey, they didn't do any work, so they didn't participate. They will get a didn't participate type of sign or something. Great. But, now that's going to look different because they're going to need something for us to be able to go on. And so here's my question. My question is, what are we really doing?
Does anybody know?
Like, what are we really doing? What is the purpose of this?
As a parent, I can't tell you, because the only thing I've gotten from my children's school, I got a letter from the middle school that basically said school starts at 9 a.m. If they show up at 9:05, as in log in at 9:05, they're considered tardy. And I keep getting a bunch of text messages from the district saying,
well, what if your time is off from their time? Because right now your computer says 8:42 and mine says 8:43. So am I late?
I've seen schools that say your child has to show up in uniform. My kids, personally, they said just adhere to the dress code. You can't show up in your pajamas.
I just show up dressed. Show up, you can have on your favorite shirt. Like, we can do theme days every week to make it fun for the kids.
I think it should be fun. Like, okay, let's have crazy hat day, and all these kids are sitting there in their crazy
every
hats.
day. It will be something. All right, y'all. I would make it simple. A color. Y'all put this color on. It has to be, appropriate, in covering and things like that. But if I was a kid, I'd be in whatever I was required to be in with no drawers on. Like, you can't tell me what to do when you can't see what's happening over
there. As an adult, we're struggling with our anxiety and our depression and whatever emotions that we're taking on based on what the pandemic looks like for us personally. Our children are experiencing these same emotions. They don't have the verbiage around it to say or communicate what it is that they're feeling. A lot of times people tend to forget that children are freaking people. They're little tiny human people. They have their own personalities. They have their own feelings. They have their own emotions. They suffer from depression. They suffer from anxiety, social performance, like all of those things that we as adults can say, yo, I had to give a presentation today at work and I almost peed my pants. Like, man, my stomach was hurting. I had the bubbles. I didn't know what to do. Kids are literally going through the same thing, but we're not allowing them the words around that. To me, telling my child who has spent his whole summer in pajamas that he now has to get up and put on a uniform when the only thing he wants to do is go sit next to his homie in class so they can talk about Naruto and any anime and Roblox and Minecraft. You're actually piling on more of a problem. Like, let my baby show up in his Spider-Man button down and let's all be okay. He's here.
Lovely Jones says the orientation was not helpful.
Oh, my word.
And her anxiety.
What was that like? Was it, because we had a welcome to middle school and there was like breakaways. It was not very informative. It was a lot of hem-hawing. So as a graduate of Parkway, whoop, whoop, I'm wondering, what was that like for you and your baby, especially going into middle school?
And that's the name of the middle school?
Parkway Middle.
Okay.
I'm going to need Florida to get together and talk about these school names as well as the mascots. I went to a school called South Plantation High School, and the mascot was a guy on a horse. And then our rival high school was Plantation High School. Theirs was also a guy on a horse, so we were the paladins, they were the colonels. Parkway Middle School is a Cavalier. It's a knight on a horse. Like, we need to talk about this. I'm a little concerned. She says, my anxiety is on high. I've been trying to keep it together in front of her. Girl, I understand.
Yep.
I'm literally the parent that's like, y'all, it's going to be okay. This is going to be fun. The year is going to be this. And I got to go upstairs and cry silently in my bathroom because I don't know. I literally, the last 2.5 months of school were trying. Like, the school had the kids going Monday through Thursday. Friday, nobody logged in. You just made up work from the week and turned it in. My son spent like 8 hours. After, I'm a tough parent. Like, I was over him, making sure they were logging in, making sure they were doing their work. But the teachers were just throwing work at them at the last minute, at the end, trying to
That's why you should be planning.
And I was like, what is this? Like, we completed everything.
We have curriculum.
And then we woke up to all of these incompletes.
Like, make your job easier. Like, do your job. Make it easier.
I'm like, there's no reason why he should be sitting on the floor in front of this computer for 9 hours making up all of this work. That, like, what are we doing?
At the last minute, just
literally at the 9th hour to have grades. I don't want that.
But you're required to. This is what I'm saying. You're doing your job. If you're required to take grades every week. So why are we rushing?
None of that was
now.
So
granted, your transition time, your school should have been able to allow the transitional.
They
time
had nothing
to the teacher,
and I gave leeway because everybody was flailing around.
Yeah,
we all were like, "What's happening? What are we doing?" You know, there was 2 weeks of nothing, and then it was like, "Okay, this is where we're at. So this is what we're gonna do." Tabitha says, I tell my kids just put on a clean shirt.
I know that's right.
Man.
I know that's right.
It was 15 minutes of nothing.
Wow. And that's the sad part. Like, that's what I'm saying. I've been suggesting stuff to the district. I'm like, hey, who I need to talk to about putting together some webinars? Why can't we put webinars together for our school?
This is my thing.
Put some webinars together for these parents.
The districts leaned more on the teachers for ideas and solutions and what they should do.
We don't know anything. Look, did you hear me? We don't know nothing. I said it right the first time. We don't know nothing.
Because there have been very good solutions that have been passed about, but nobody is. It's like if you are on this, this is a totem pole.
Like the
people who make all the money is up here. The people who teach and who are actually on the front lines and can tell you what they're seeing and what they're experiencing are here. And it's like whatever this is in between, they're like, "Oh, I can't hear you. I don't want to hear what you got to say."
Listen. Over cleaning my face, pruning myself. Such a cat.
Oh my Lord!
For teachers, because I'm speaking from the teacher's perspective.
Right.
I'm teaching, and no, you can't even record the sessions. Let me tell you why you can't even record the sessions. You can't record the sessions because some parents sign, they give each school gives a packet of papers that says I'm allowing my child to be photographed or recorded. And if you say no, then there's absolutely nothing we can do. We cannot record the sessions because at least one kid in that classroom is going to be a do not record kid.
Oh, y'all.
And it shows, you can't control whose house it shows into.
Right.
So we can't record them.
I'm afraid.
We cannot record them.
As a parent, I can honestly say I am afraid. I'm afraid for what this school year looks like. I'm afraid for my children. My daughter has been very vocal about how much she hates the coronavirus because she will literally enunciate every syllable because for her, it took her from the people who love her the most, which were, of course, mama loves you, but her teachers and her little homies and stuff, like, what our babies are. And that's the thing. I think we need to really communicate with our children. We need to really have conversations with them around their mental health and what's happening. We need to carve out time for them specifically because the teachers are hurting because they love those kids. They miss them. They miss their interactions with them. Human touch is a thing. And
it is a thing.
There are teachers who, thrive on the 4,000 or 5,000 hugs they get a day that they're not getting now. And it's there's a video going around of oh, little Johnny or little Jane, come meet your first grade teacher, come meet your kindergarten teacher, come meet your teacher. And it's like these methed out pictures and parents are like cracking up. And I'm like, I can understand why y'all want to make these jokes, but I don't find this funny. Kids are already stressed enough about what the school year is going to look like on these computers. Don't turn it into a joke and further traumatize them by methany on the damn screen with all the teeth missing and stuff just for likes and shares and laughs. Like, let's not do that to these kids. They are people who are also experiencing something that is unprecedented, and they don't have the verbiage around. Like, please, y'all, stop it. Like, let's talk to our babies. Let's love on them. Let's help them understand. Like, we get it. This isn't good. This, you know. Oh my God, girl.
I do. So, listen, let me wrap up my little help section.
Yes. So be flexible. What's the next one?
It's flexible. Working from home or having the children in distance learning consolidates vital soft skills across the curriculum, such as time management. With a more flexible home learning environment, students need to prioritize their time accordingly. Now this is going to teach them that if the teacher is planned and it's scheduled. Right. And if it's running and if it's a live session, if you're in a live session, the recommendation right now for many districts is 3 to 5 hours. I'm sorry, 2 to 3 hours, 1 to 3 hours, depending on the grade band of the child.
Right.
So we sit on the computer 3.5 hours right now. And I don't know if it's a pilot or if we're being used as guinea pigs. I'm pretty sure
Probably.
we are. But I'm not requiring that much time for my students. You know, I will be available. I'm available all day long because the alerts come to my phone like text messages.
Right.
It don't matter. Emails, student platforms. Our platforms allow them to call me.
Right.
Like, so they can call me all night. If they are on a computer, they can call me whenever they want. You know what I'm saying? I can choose to answer or not.
Right.
But they can call me whenever they want. And so I'm working all day, even when I ain't at work, even when those hours are over. But I'm not going to require the students to be on the computer or sit that long. We're going to go through our lesson. They're going to get they might be on there an hour and a half, because I think a good 45-minute lesson each day, and then you're available to walk them through, because I do the work with them while they're on it. I tell them how to access the computer. Like, that's what I'm teaching them right now.
Right.
These are second graders going to third grade.
Okay.
So, you know, their whole little world finna change. And I wish that they were at school to get that experience that they need, because this is where they become social. This is where their likes solidify.
It's a very needed skill as far as development is concerned. It's the whole reason why they decided to wait until kids were 5 to enter into the school system, because of social skills. Lovely Jones says, my daughter hates it too. She had virtual summer camp, and she was like, I hate this, mama, because I'd rather be with them in person, but I know I won't be safe. Girl, that would have broke my heart.
And you want to do stuff, you know what I mean? Like, and so again, it requires the teacher to be creative. It requires the teacher to devote the time to, like, hey,
it's also requiring creativity on the parents' parts as well.
It is.
I'm seeing parents carve out, certain areas in the home if they can, just specifically for learning for the kids, because when you all cut those cameras off and now they have that 2-hour block of they need to do this and they need to do that, it's now on the parent to say, do your work. Like, don't go watch TV. Like, even if I'm at work, I've got one ear here and one ear tuned in. My biggest fear, though, is 2 things. Our latchkey babies, because mama's not there, and our special needs babies. Our babies who have ADHD and who that time of focus, like in that one space, is hard. Well, our babies who like all of this, it's a mess.
It is, but there are still things that we can do. We gotta
absolutely.
And so, and that's what I'm attempting to employed with my kids at work, you know, and so I'm at a different school for Summer Bridge, a different demographic,
Okay.
everything. Everything. And so
I don't mean to laugh, but I can only imagine what that demographic looked like.
Picking up what I'm putting down. All right. So,
Gosh.
you know, but it's still the same. My desire is still the same. I want you to know, and so I'm very open. I'm like, all right, God, this is what we're learning today. This is how it's gonna look. I'm gonna post the links I'll be on if you have a question. You know, those type of things, because I want them to feel like they're there, like they know me. And so it's just so much work. Like my energy right now, mind you, I was up till 3 a.m. So it's already just like whoop. But the thought of having to get up in the morning and do it again and go to work.
Do you feel like it's stripping you of what made you want to teach in the first place?
No.
Oh, that's a good thing.
No. And only because my reason for beginning to teach was a personal one.
Okay.
I needed to be in the schools with my son. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I was getting things that I didn't accept. You know, as a mom, I'm like, what the hell? I don't know this kid that y'all describing. So, but now as an educator, I know that a child is totally different.
You get two totally different children.
I know.
You
that
get
now.
two totally different children within parents.
Yeah.
So if the parent is over here and the parent is over here, hell, even if they're in the same household, you're going to get two different children.
Man, listen.
So the teacher definitely, I know some people who know they child is a little devil at home, and then they wait on the phone call, and then they get in the parent-teacher conference, and they're like, such an angel, such a sweetheart, willing to help everybody, and the parents sitting there like,
who?
Do you realize which kid this is?
Listen. So, also,
okay,
it for the teacher, it opens the student's eyes to learning outside of the classroom.
Right.
Because here's the thing. This is what I'm going to do. And that's going to be a totally separate thing. You're gonna have to follow me somewhere else to get this, but I am going to go and teach on a beach for at least 30 days.
No, I didn't already told you I'm checking out for 3 weeks, honey. I'm gonna be somewhere just.
I am going to, and so I Googled
because it's
it.
making it enjoyable for you.
It is, and it will help. I'm going to see, because I don't know if it will alleviate my stress. So I typed it in just to see what came up, and an opportunity, a teaching opportunity, came up in a place that I was scheduled to go this summer.
Really? Come on, alignment.
So
okay,
I'm getting the hell out of here. To go teach somewhere.
Lovely says, my daughter is on an IEP as well for a learning disability. So I'm thinking, how is this going to work? So as a teacher here, how can you give her any advice as to how she can navigate that?
Well, I pray that there's another teacher on the other side. I have a colleague who is perfect in this area.
Okay.
I mean, but she makes contact. Like, she goes to visit.
So she's actually pulling up at your house.
Yeah, she to drop things off, to drop off assignments. She still gets online and, make sure that her children have computers and, accessibility to the content and everything. But the district was also giving, the district has been doing really well, did really well because they were giving packets of the material. We had them virtually online also.
Really?
And so the teacher will go and get the packets, and just to go and check in, take the packets to the kids' house. So she would, the kids would be on the porch and she'd be out in the yard or whatever, but she would go and make contact. So that's why I say I don't really know what beyond that. That's what you should do, especially if the disability is preventative of them accessing their content, because by law they have the right to access it. And so you have to be creative in the way that it's being delivered. If it's being delivered, and she was also recording videos, which could be a way. Ask the teacher to record videos so that she can watch them. record videos of herself.
So I wonder,
like, that's what I'm saying, webinars.
with the
She
whole
can do
recording
webinars.
sessions and not being able to record the kids, is there a way for the teacher to just record themselves? That's
record themselves all the time. What you mean?
That's smart.
And make a YouTube channel specific for her class where all the videos are
right, because you
there.
can make it private and only those can access
with the link.
it. There are things.
I mean, but there's also another. I don't know if it's a part of YouTube or not, but it's an actual thing called TeacherTube where teachers actually upload their content. You know,
just for their classes,
just for whoever needs access to it.
I like that.
There are ways. So ask your teacher if she's not doing that, then she should. And that's where your advocating will come from.
And are the teachers willing to accept advice? This is what I was talking about earlier, where the whole village mentality is going to come into play. Our teachers, our parents, the school itself, everybody has to be on board with this whole let's share and make this work. Because at the end of the day, we are all here for the kids.
But that's what it should be anyway.
It should absolutely.
So that's another benefit to me.
Like you said, politics have jumped into it so hard.
Yeah,
that
but the people that are at the core of it, the parents, you know what I'm saying? The teachers that care, the people that are at the core of it, the real stakeholders in what's happening.
Right.
And so, because I grew up in a time where I had teachers that cared.
I can remember the teachers that cared.
I don't know how to not be a teacher.
As old as I am now, I can still remember those teachers' names.
Yeah,
I know which one was.
I can tell you every grade level from pre-K all the way to 12th grade.
Because there were grades in there that those teachers were trash. Like some of these teachers be a little trashy. But the ones that actually cared and were nurturing and were literally like, I knew when I left my house and I went to school, this teacher was like a parent because they loved teaching. I can remember their name and can rattle them off like that. And can almost, like, my love for English, for language arts, for writing came from my 6th grade teacher at Parkway Middle, Miss Williams. That woman taught me how to literally break down a whole sentence, like word by word, by phrase, by, like, that's where that came from, because she would write a sentence on the board every morning when we got there. The sentence was on the board. If you went to Parkway Middle and you had Miss Williams, you know what I'm talking about. It was on the board and you literally had to break down that sentence. Adverb, adjective, you know, participle, like it all, you had to literally basically build the sentence structure from what she wrote. They don't teach like that anymore because teachers have now been kind of like pushed into these boxes of this is what you have to do. And that sucks because it takes the joy out of it. Not every kid is going to learn on that same wavelength. So if you have that teacher that has a way to show them how to do, like, let me tell you something, baby. I couldn't teach a tap dancer how to tap. Like, it's just, that's not my calling. But I remember I suck at math. Everybody who know me know. Words, yes. Math, no. But I had a teacher that was so great at teaching as far as math was concerned and actually got me through high school. That I said if I ever in my life had to take a teaching job, I was going to teach remedial math. Because he made it so enjoyable and I actually could understand it. He didn't speak to me like I was dumb and didn't understand numbers. He spoke to me like my brain spoke another language. So he spoke that language so I would get it. We need you all. Like, there's just nothing you can do without a teacher.
Absolutely nothing.
Even a YouTube video where you're learning something, somebody's teaching it.
Yeah, and so
everything starts with a teacher. Even y'all dumbass president had to have a teacher. Somewhere she is ashamed and hides her face.
No, that wasn't no. He probably
had
some
private school. She's still ashamed. Or maybe she's not. He's not. They're proud.
They are not. Because honey, listen. So I have some concerns.
Okay.
As a teacher and as a person, human. My concerns is, as an educator, is the increase in child abuse cases. Since COVID, child abuse cases have increased. However, experts are concerned that there could be an unseen surge in abuse behind closed doors due to COVID-related unemployment and financial strain. And educators were a big part of the reporters, and we're not seeing them anymore.
When you were talking earlier about being able to see your students and lay your eyes on them, that was the first thing my mind went to. Teachers are your first reporters. And a lot of times abuse is highlighted or, brought to the forefront and kids are rescued because of a teacher. Now what?
I know, because I came from that side of the field before I began teaching, so
now what?
I don't know. People will report. Those that are around and that see or don't see. There's an incident in Fort Worth that happened in Fort Worth, Texas, where a little foster child was brought into the hospital with some injuries so severe that he was put on life support as soon as he arrived. And his death was ruled a homicide. And so what they're saying is that these increases are you're not only seeing the increase in the abuse, you're seeing the increase in the fatality.
Right. There's nowhere for these babies to go now.
No. And then the teacher in Florida.
Oh my God.
That witnessed her
soul.
student she watched her student watch her mother be killed.
On the live classroom.
The first day of school.
First day of school.
So we have to consider those issues as well as educators, as lawmakers. Like, it's so, like, every time I think of something, it, like, takes a piece of me.
I can.
Because what do we do?
What?
Like, so, because if my goal, my job is to educate, to enlighten, to challenge, to get people to encourage students or kids to grow into adults that think critically.
Right.
And speak up for themselves, because today we were talking about equity and racism and assessing how we are tending to that. And I said, well, I find it difficult to monitor racism when everybody around me looks like me. So you're asking me this, you're having this conversation when you have, what I'm saying is it's bigger than just what's happening in our school, because you got the demographics of the school.
Right.
So you know how many students or what.
Okay.
So is this a wasted effort? You know what I mean? And it ultimately, no, theoretically speaking, it's not. You know what I mean? Because you have to assess yourself as a professional.
Right.
And so that's what it's forced us to do. It's forced us to stop and say, hey, let's look at this. Okay, well, we got, we all right. Here, and here. We can improve here, and here. You know what I mean? But what does that look like in terms of our school? And so I said, for me, it looks like letting teaching our students to know that equity is something that they absolutely deserve, and that eventually we'll stop asking for permission for it. Like, that's what our goal is, because for us, we gotta stop asking for seats at tables we build.
We can, and we've had that discussion before. We build another table, we sit at it, and we don't let you sit there. It's okay to carve out spaces for ourselves,
That's right. You can't sit here.
Yes, we definitely had
absolutely
that conversation.
Cannot sit here. And so that moves us to talk about all of the things that could go wrong, all of the things that we've discussed tonight, all of the feelings of it, the emotions, alternatives and resources. seek out groups and organizations that offer online support. I gave one here to help at the beginning of the show tonight. But seek out support.
Mm-hmm.
Friends, people that are on Facebook. Now, see, I always drop little things.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody, you know, respond in the way that I would think they do, because I know somebody needs support. Like, yo, I gotta teach, because in Texas they are requiring the students to come in, and my family members
Actually, they didn't see what happened to the other school where the babies went in, and 2 days later they had to shut the whole school down.
But that's happened at several places. Almost at many of the places that have reopened, it's happened. You understand what I'm saying? Because one person, all it takes is one person.
All it takes is one.
And if that child is maneuvered throughout the school, and clearly we see with all the crowded hallways, like teachers and nurses have resigned because there's no the practices and things that they're supposed to be doing. It's not happening.
Yeah, because remember the kids who were suspended?
Yeah, for telling recording the video.
Social distancing, huh? And the kids are packed in the hallway like a regular day. And that's another thing. Those that have decided to let the kids go in, what does that look like? Because nobody is following the guidelines. You have to have a plan in place that is a severe plan to make sure the kids are social distance, that they're wearing their masks, that, during the hallways are not crowded. Like, what are we doing?
We don't know.
Well, we have a grandmother who commented, said, mm-hmm. It is also important for our future. There are so many new ways to learn something as simple as math, but not all parents can or even have the time to learn the new methods of learning.
She's right.
So now parents have to juggle it all. My heart goes out to each and every person involved.
She's right. The new math, the method of explaining.
Let me tell you something.
Which takes the creativity out of it.
My kids will learn the way that I learned. The end.
From my understanding, I was asked to teach because she couldn't allow the baby to go to school because she is immune compromised, like severely. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so she's like, she wasn't risking it. And so, like, I'm scheduling because I'm from Texas, so I know the curriculum. So I'm teaching. Like, I'm teaching here because I'm licensed in Texas still, and I'm teaching there. You know what I'm saying? I gotta hold my own Zoom classes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so seek out people like that. Seek out, I will be more than happy to share. I'm teaching the 6th grade curriculum. Be more than happy to share if you have students in that age group. I'm a gifted teacher, so if you have a 3rd grader that you think should be challenged on 5th and 6th grade content, send it to me. I'm not easy. I do ask questions.
We are we really have to rely on, I think this could be twofold. We can take the bad and make it the good because our villages can now come back. Mm-hmm. We need our villages.
We do.
Because there are going to be the parents whose babies are, compromised, or parents who don't understand and they're having issues, but they can't afford to hire a tutor to come in. They don't have the money for those resources. Mm-hmm. So we need to have a place where they can go, where their children can get
that's the other option.
Without the notion of I'm going to have to start an OnlyFans page to make sure my baby can get the correct education.
And so that's the next option. Where there are online systems, and like I said, I can create. I have a list, not create. I have lists of sites that the kids can go to with games. Like, you can create assignments. Is what I'm saying. Right. Even if I was offering a service to a paid service for teaching, mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not, and at this particular point, it needs to happen. Children need to learn.
They absolutely
am the community that I came from, so why not? So, but what I'm saying is, even if it is not, find resources that you can get on, create links yourself, create assignments, week-long assignments, and at the end of the week, because you're now at home, you're spending time with your children, you're having conversations, you're monitoring learning
and that's
more
the people
closely.
who can.
Yes,
You know,
that
thankfully,
is
like
true.
I said, I'm
That is
remote,
true.
so I can kind of juggle a little bit. But there are parents whose jobs are like, they either have to come in because there's required in person, or just some places the employers are shit. Take note of these employers who they are more concerned about their bottom line than they are their family dynamics. That's not a company you want to be at. That's not a company you want to work for. So it's, you know, start throwing their resume out there, because there are places that are requiring that their people come in, and they don't give a goddamn that you got children at home and you don't know what you're going to do with your kids. You know, you don't want to send them to the daycares because it's the notion of, I literally spent the day calling places and researching online places where my child can go for preschool online, because I can't send her to a daycare. It's not going to be a thing.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And even, but I'm saying, even the parents that are busy, if everybody's on social media, like, we have to talk about what is. Everybody's on social media. I post. Whoever else posts. Whatever groups you're in, ask.
Start asking the questions.
You know what I mean? Like,
start asking
unnecessary regardless of how much they work.
And listen, for the people who like to shame parents that are asking these questions, stop that shit. Like, this is an actual thing? This is a real thing. Like, I'm telling you, I had to scroll past because people are literally going in on parents like they have some sort of magic idea. If you see a parent posting,
what you mean? Like, give me an example.
Case in point, the woman was concerned because of her job that the type of work that she does kind of targets people who abuse children, and she was afraid of the stuff that was going to roll in. She was also afraid that because of her job, she has to go out, her children are at home, and they have to stay in to do distance learning. A young lady took it upon herself. I should look this shit up because I took a screenshot because I'm about that life, to chastise parents for their laziness, and y'all should have been preparing for this, y'all have these kids, y'all are lazy, like, literally went in. And I'm like, you have a parent exercising a very valid concern, and you who are childless are spending your time deciding to...
She said what?
Hold on, let me find it, because you know I am...
I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand this logically. Y'all, I can't understand. Okay.
People better figure it out. Public school is not a daycare. There will be a lot of whatever that is and gang violence. People better get with friends and neighbors to figure out a co-op neighborhood school situation. I actually agree with that.
I do, which was my other point.
Right. Parents better get to educating their own offspring. Life is hard. Oh well. Everybody wants to procreate until it's time to raise and educate them. Bitch, what? I had a whole moment of, oh, what? I didn't even know this woman. I don't even know, you know, like, you accept people on your Facebook page and you see shit. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to jump in because that is my hot button. And somebody said to her, you are a woman who has no children. Like, why are you even jumping in this?
Help me understand. What was she saying? I'm trying to understand.
She basically was saying that parents don't want to do the work required to educate and raise their children.
And but what I'm saying, where did that come from? It was just a thought?
It came from whatever the girl posted. So the girl basically was posting her fears of, I have to actually leave my house and my children, and she took that as her being lazy and not wanting to educate her children. I said all of that to say, if you are childless, or if you do so happen to have a child and you have the shit figured out, if you are not offering these parents an actual viable solution, something that is tangible that they can actually work, shut the fuck up.
Well, then, okay. So what I'm doing for Texas,
yes,
I'll be the first to create a co-op.
Okay.
And I'm not.
And I like the idea of a co-op.
You know what I mean?
I really do.
In the sense that, I mean, it would be great if I was there to get 2 or 3 kids at a time, you know, on a day. Hey, you come these days, but you can still watch online. I actually like the idea
of checkers, right? So remember, back in the day, you knew maybe 2 or 3 neighborhood kids were latchkey kids. Miss Johnson at the end of the block checked on them. I like the idea of somebody with a mask and stuff on actually checking on our children who have to be latchkey because their parents have to work. You know, she's home. Hey, Johnny, you working? Communicating with your neighbors and understanding, and people, you have to be super careful because people are creeps and all that other stuff. But if you can create a village or somebody in your neighborhood who knows exactly what is happening and knows your children and your children knows them, and they can knock on the door and check in and make sure the kids are doing okay and all of this other stuff. I actually like that idea. We need a village. I keep saying it because it's absolutely true. It's what we need. Thank you, Kendra. She says public school is not a daycare. However, the economy is built on the idea of having an available workforce. Say that.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
We are not where we were when our parents or our grandparents and stuff were coming up. A lot of two family households are working. Both parents. I can't imagine I can actually, because that's me. A one-person household where the person is working. Like, I have to work. If those babies have to eat, I gotta work. I have to work to pay my mortgage. Like, these are things that have to happen. My job has never shut down. However, they sent us home. The people who are at McDonald's, like, let's be real, y'all. A lot of us, and y'all know what I mean by us, are your frontline workers. We're your nurses. We're your EMTs. We're your people at the grocery store. We're your people at the McDonald's. We are those people. We are the ones who are working.
How about putting cameras in your home?
So, from a realist, I have cameras in my home. I can log in at any time and see what my children are doing. However, for a lot of people, that is not a viable option because it costs money. And a lot of people don't have it. Especially in the economy now. So many people unemployed.
Your idea of this is to make it equitable.
Right. Which is why I said I like the idea of checkers. If Miss So-and-so down the block isn't working, like she's on Social Security or whatever, what is it for us to all get together and she goes from house to house, hey, we have
to have a system of vetting.
We have to, girl, dude.
We have to have a system of vetting. So,
there's a lot that needs to go into place, but we need to start having realistic conversations because the way people out partying, we're in this for the foreseeable future.
She says we can no longer live in the era of latchkey kids. Your neighbors would rather call CPS on you for leaving your children at home versus becoming. That's what I'm saying. Like the vetting the time is different. And so, but that's what I'm saying. You good girlfriends and the people that you have, around you, if you even have that, because now that's my privilege speaking. Not everybody has that.
I think a lot of stuff we do say is from privilege. Which is the whole notion. Not everybody has the money. Not everybody has we are 5 minutes, however, from the end of the show.
We are. So that means that it's a time.
It's a time.
It's a time.
It's a time.
Do you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It is. Do you know what time it is? It is.
What time is it?
It is.
Bald-headed hoe shit. Bald-headed hoe shit. Get it, bitch. Bald-headed hoe shit.
Yes, it is our bald-headed hoe segment. So,
who do we have?
Our bald-headed hoe
on the agenda
today. First of all, I want to mention a light bald-headed hoe because I love her. I really love her. I bump her all the time. But my first bald-headed hoe, Summer Walker. Girl. I was standing for you like week before last, but you had to go and use your fingers to spout some bullshit about parents. Here we go. So Summer Walker decided to send out a Instagram paragraph about how parents who give their children formula are lazy, and that we need to learn how to give our kids fruits that you can grind up in the blender and make our own formula from scratch. And of course, you had Dr. Sebi people in the comments or whatever. Do you know that a newborn baby can't eat fruits though, baby? Summer Walker, you ain't got no damn kids. This is what I mean. If you are childless, shut the fuck up if you don't have a viable solution. If you feel like parents who have to give their children formula are somehow lazy because they're putting all these chemicals because you read the back of it in their children, baby, write that in your diary. Put it in a song. What you don't do is go online and criticize parents, girl. Shut the hell up.
And when you don't have no children.
Especially like you a bald-headed hoe this week. Like, come on, Summer. I was just telling people to get off your back like 3 weeks ago. Like, girl.
I would like to mention a bald-headed hoe.
Who we got?
The bald-headed hoe that I would like to mention tonight is Congress.
Congress.
Those bald-headed hoes.
Bald-headed. Raggedy
Took this
hoes.
week. I mean, not this week. Went on leave, break, vacation, whatever we're going to call it, during the middle of a pandemic at the beginning of the school year. When we got an asshole in chief frolicking on Black Lives Matter Plaza.
Him and all of them are bald-headed hoes. Raggedy asses.
I don't understand. I don't understand. And me trying to understand make me tired.
It's mind-boggling.
It makes me so tired.
Our final bald-headed hoe of the night seems to be the queen of bald-headed hoes. It would be like me going to get a job as a doctor when I have not done 1 hour of medical school. My queen bald-headed hoe for the night is none other than Betsy DeVos, who has made it her business to dismantle the public school system, has no background in that whatsoever, was not qualified for the job. She'd have been better off flipping fries at McDonald's than being the head.
She'd have been better off.
I wanted to say something else, but my mom was watching.
Yeah, and I was
in the middle of a pandemic, when we are all trying our best as people, parents, teachers, and the like to figure out what this looks like for our children, this hoe, bald-headed scallywag
Does she
of one.
have children?
I don't even damn know.
I wonder, can somebody
But you
find
know
out or
what? If
let
she
me know
does,
if she
they
has
were
children?
private school educated, and there was nothing that she has ever.
You're right.
Her kids ain't. If she has children, they've never set foot
They have
in a
nannies.
public goddamn school.
They
I
have
don't like
nannies.
you, lady.
They have
I don't
nannies.
like you. I think your mother should have swallowed, or your daddy should have decided that the sheets were a better place, and you are seriously misinformed about what public school education looks
It's
like.
Mm-hmm.
Go away. Why didn't you apply for something else?
So
Anyway,
listen, for those of us that are tuned in on Blog Talk or any of our other platforms, it's time to go. For those of us that are on Facebook Live, stay tuned.
you get a show.
You get a show. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channels. Make sure that you follow us across social media and
Please
podcast
enter the
platforms.
giveaway. We have so much dope stuff to
To
give
give
away,
away,
like for
including-
free, including.
Our gorgeous man.
Don't you want us on your face?
Set us there nicely. All right, y'all. Oh, Lord.
So if you are watching us on social media, please enter the giveaway. We have so much dope stuff from so many of our vendors who have been sponsoring our episodes, as well as from our lovely hosts themselves. There are things that are there to give away, like enter the giveaway. We see y'all. We want to give you stuff. And the good stuff too, not the bad stuff. We want to give you good stuff. So in true fashion, it is that time of the night where we start shutting everything down. We thank you all so much for tuning in with us. All of our sponsors will be in the comments down below once you play back. Also, all of our recommendations, because she had some really dope ones. Tonight's episode was really one that was close to me. Very, very close to me. I will punch you in the face as a mama. I'm that mama.
I have a song.
She has a song that she is going to sing. Please make
I even
sure
got
you
the
like,
words.
share, subscribe. Please enter our giveaway. Get you a mask because we living in the days of the Rona and you want to be protected. Why not be protected and stylish? Like, thank you so much to MMMAC #5 clothing line for doing our mask for us. And again, have a wonderful week. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, please email us at soulcomfort19@gmail.com. If you have a question, a comment, we will keep you anonymous if you so choose. Other than that, we love you all so much. Good night.
You gotta wait till my part.
Oh, you gotta wait
till my part. Y'all gotta wait till my part. Rise up and smile on the edge.
I like this song. Get the note, girl. Let me hear it. It better be clean. Thank you all so much. Y'all have a good night. Happy Monday. You have been practicing. I'm proud of you. Hey. So, have you entered our giveaway yet?
It's certainly time to do so. Make sure that you follow us on Facebook at Soul Comfort 19 or Southern Comfort 19. And check out the links to our Get Social and Win giveaway.
Yes.
All you have to do is simply subscribe and click the bell to our YouTube channel.
Ding.
Like us on Facebook. Thumbs us up. Follow us on Instagram. Easy peasy, and we even entertain you.
We do.
And be sure to follow us on our podcast platforms: Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Blog Talk Radio, and Pandora. Or wherever you listen to your podcast at. So be sure to get social and win with Southern Comfort.
I mean,
join
who
the
doesn't
conversation.
Want merchandise?
Merchandise,
T-shirts, glasses, makeup holders, honey. Listen.
Books.
Listen.
Jewels. Y'all,
I want to enter myself.
Listen.
Can I enter?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Limitations will apply. We'll see y'all there.